Fucking beats code.
Sorry, I'm just refilling my my cat's water real quick. There we go. Sorry about that. I got distracted writing the devlog that's going to be up tonight. Because I meant to put it up yesterday and didn't. I was very, very tired after everything. So, excuse me. All right. Congrats on the cut. Oh, it's not cut. It's just combed. You normally see me with a hat on and my hair down. It's still down. Jesus Christ. There we go. That's a little better. Yeah. All right. Let me refresh my memory on where the hell we were. Oh, his particles need moved up. That's why everything's disappearing. Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking at. He emits a particle effect that uses the glowing particles. I did fix this one at the end of stream. I remember doing that. Nope, that's the PNG. While I'm brainstorming ideas for cave game, I might start working on improving story engine for text adventure game. Cool. Yeah. Thresh effect. You. Something I've debated on doing, I haven't decided, really, is I think what it boils down to. I think now I am confident enough at shaders that I could do lighting around these guys, like via a shader. I could do the fire without what I'm doing here. Actually, out of curiosity, start sky shader. Interesting. Well, that's cool. Yeah, don't know what that is. Don't know if that's a weird scaling thing, but then if I look over here, it's fine. And if I look on stream, gotta minimize that. It is also fine. The only issues I have over here on stream are just because of the Windows aspect ratio. Oh, actually, it is weird. No, you're right. Something's off. And I don't quite know why. Which isn't good, given that, like, the whole point of this is to stream text. Let me check something. Curious. OBS got an update a while back. Yeah, not sure. Might have to look. We'll have to look into that later. Normalize pixel size of default 2D texture. This is funny. Oh, that's interesting too. So that used to just be a thing we could access, and now you have to do a sampler 2D with the hint screen texture. That ought to be easy. Are you nervous about it? What if I did this? I do too. It's not open right now, but it should be. You can see I have Git GUI installed, but GitHub Desktop's great. I've worked jobs where I was required to use like the console version, so I know the console version inside and out, but I'm curious about something. What does this do? Snooze. I should have probably told it to pick a time. If stream ends abruptly, it's because Windows decided it was time to update. Yeah. It still does the thing. Why does it erase things? That's the part I'm confused about. Is like, why does it cause things to get erased? Yeah, I've played quite a few text adventures. Zork is amazing. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, this guy. Zork. From Infocom. Zork is really cool. Probably variety and a good story. That's what makes them fun to me. Zork has a lot of interaction in it, even though it's a text-based adventure game. With text not showing, and this is hard to do. So this is the map of Zork. Zork is like, you think of a, is it more fun to type out and or choices? Do visuals matter too much? So a lot of text-based adventures I've played have no visuals at all. They let the player visualize everything in their head. Think of building a text-based adventure game like building a D&D campaign for the player. They can make choices, they can do things. You limit the number of choices they have in a text-based adventure, but it's the same idea. And then you're just describing this like world to them, and then they're moving through it with some commands. Like when we play D&D, we are given a map and we're told, you're in a city. What do you do? I'm going to look for a tavern. So the command there might be look for and then a thing. And then the DM or GM, whatever you're going to call them, Dungeon Master, Game Master, Keeper, whatever, depends on the game is what their title is. But then they say, okay, you're in a tavern now. This is what you see, and they describe the scene in front of you. And then they might emphasize certain things, like you see a pile of crates in the corner, you see an orc sitting at the bar drinking from a mug, and a bartender. Then they might be like, okay, I want to go talk to the bartender, and then that starts some dialogue. Or I want to go talk to the orc, and maybe that sparks some dialogue or a fight or whatever. Combat in text-based adventures is always weird because there are two ways you can do it. You could do it sort of real time, where it's like you could drop them into a mini game or have some text appearing in front of them and they've got to respond quickly. Or you could do a more turn-based sort of thing. And if I did turn-based, I would want good descriptions for everything that's happening. Like, if I'm fighting a wizard in a turn-based game and they cast a fireball and it, like, hits near me but doesn't hit me because that's how the dice roll worked, I would want, like, the text-based adventure game to describe the heat near me. I would want it to describe all of that. That's kind of how I feel about it. I'm still not sure why that makes everything disappear. Specifically, it's making these disappear, which is weird. And I don't know if they're just on the same layer. But yeah, I think that's what makes text adventure games fun, since you asked. I think it's a mix of good descriptions and good storytelling. Well, it's not the lights, it's the particles. It's the glowing particle shader I wrote yesterday. For some reason, it's... And they're not... Oh, I like typing it out, but... And I'm going to warn you of this. It's hard for... so this is why Maniac Mansion exists. The game Maniac Mansion exists as an adventure game based off of a text adventure game because the person making the game got frustrated with the parser in King's Quest. The parser has to be really good if you're going to do typing out answers, but choices can feel more limited. I'll pull up and show you the UI of Maniac Mansion. So Maniac Mansion, instead of having a parser, has this on screen. And then it shows you the scene. And then you can click down here and select what you want to do. And then click up here to determine what it is. This is a point-and-click adventure game. Point-and-click adventure games almost entirely exist because people are pissed off at parsers in text-based adventure games. So as to what's better, I think if you're going to go the text-based adventure route and not a point-and-click adventure route, I think that typing is better. But I think that the parser has to be good, and I think it would be a very good idea to have a simple help command, and you teach the player at the beginning of the game, this exists, this is what it can do. Like, you could have your help command just be the word observe and then an object, and then if they observe that thing in that paragraph that they're given as, like, input for the scene, if they observe that, it tells them what they can do to it. Right? Like, I think that that's kind of where it gets tricky. But that's my opinion. Also, I love this scene in Maniac Mansion. Look how fucking big the skeleton is, and that's a human. These do not equate to the same size. Maniac Mansion, by the way, great game. Love Maniac Mansion. The heads of every character in Maniac Mansion are huge because they had a limited good parser, as in, so if they're typing their command, I would account for a few different words being used, or giving the player hints or making assumption as to what they wanted to do. Like, if you have something that is a bush and you call it a shrubbery, accept bush and shrubbery both as options. Like, that's a specific example, but that's one from King's Quest. You have to go to a shrubbery and do a thing. I think you have to type, like, inspect shrubbery. Shrubbery is the word it's looking for. It's the word it used to describe it in the paragraph, but a lot of times players will go inspect bush because a shrubbery is a bush. They're the same thing. So you need to kind of make that equivalent. Multiple words have to be acceptable for a single object if you're going to have a good parser. The parser has to accept a variety. But you can have basic commands like this. Yeah, it's hard to manage. It's what makes text-based adventure games difficult, but a really good programming project. So your other option, like I said, is to give them a sort of help command that if they type that command and then a word from the paragraph that might be an object that's being described, you then give back the things that can be done to that object. Whether they can pick it up, they can use it, whatever. That kind of thing. A lot of text-based adventure games have an inventory because they're more like puzzle games typically. It's, hey, go here, get this thing, go into this room. Excuse me. If you've ever seen the meme, you've been eaten by a Gru. That's from Zork. That's from a text-based adventure game. And that happens if there's a dark hole I think it's a dark hole in a mansion, or it might just be the mansion. It's been a while since I played Zork. If you go into that hole, you'll get eaten by a Gru. Or I think you might just die, but then if you go in without a weapon and with a light, you'll know what's killing you. So it tells you you've been eaten by a Gru. Yeah, it is pitch black. You are likely to be eaten by a Gru. That happens if you go into a pitch black hole in Zork. That's a terrible image. But yeah, that's kind of what makes, like, a lack of visuals is what makes a good text adventure. Because you're letting the player fill all that in, or a lot of it in. Let's see. Oh, that's cool. Didn't know that was out. That also is weird as hell. What the fuck is this? There's a really popular... Let's see if I can spot it. I would know the game if I saw it. You can also see, like, what games are considered text adventures now has really changed. But yeah, like, these are considered text-based adventure games, but they're visual novels. Like, visual novels these days are considered text-based adventure games. Bitburner is a really cool one that teaches you how to program in JavaScript. Like, real JavaScript. It's a hacking game. But it's a text-based adventure hacking game that teaches you to program in JavaScript. Very good game. Very neat idea. But you can see there's not a lot of visuals to this game. There's, like, some tables, mostly, though, it's text. And ASCII. I love this line. However, I would love it even more if it would fucking tell me what it did. I know what it means, but it's not quite what I'm wanting. Screen reading shaders, yeah. Special texture to access the already rendered contents of screen is used by... As a result, this canvas iron fiber shape result. Used by specifying a hint when declaring a sample. 2D uniform hint texture and then built-in varying screen UV. I think that is right. I think that's what I think that is what I'm seeing. So that is what I... Okay. What layer are... You know what? I'm betting it's because they, Honestly, ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT is good for that shit. Like, I won't give the AI a lot, but I'll give it that. It's good at coming up with names for things. I mean, you should use it for some things. Like, just straight up. Not learning how to use a tool and not learning how to use tools well will cause you to stagnate. Yeah, you don't need it, but it might help you work faster. And it might help you learn things. That's what I like it for. I like it to help me learn things. If I can have it go out and crawl a bunch of data and then give me back good information that then I can correct, that's cool. That's useful. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. You shouldn't rely on it, but you should use it. Node for back buffering the currently displayed screen. So, wait. Buffer copy too. So, do I just... Hold on. If I go into... Not Game Master. I need Level Master. Might be called game. Yep. This. Node for back buffering the currently displayed screen. The region defined in the back buffer node is buffered with the content of the screen it covers, or the entire screen according to type mode. Inherits node 2D. Okay. I don't know what that does, but we're gonna find out. Okay. Interesting. Nice. Oh, sorry, I missed a couple of messages there. One thing I will never do is use it for art. Yeah, no, I don't think you should. I think that... Oh, huh. That's accidentally kind of useful for other things. I mean, look what that did. That's interesting. So, if I do this... What does that do? Or do I have to put it behind everything? Masking, but not on purpose. Masking by accident. Okay. So then... I'm betting if as it gets... Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is, like, this shader is accidentally kind of cool. I like that I started knowing nothing and then built that. By the way, I just looked over at my other screen. You might get a laugh out of this. This is for this project, and I have not updated. By the way, it's not public. It just says public. Yeah, it's accidentally really cool. It's not on purpose, though. Now, I think if I set this to, like, 4, hit play. Yeah, sorry. It's that was GitHub desktop. I have 99 changes waiting for me to push them to GitHub right now. Ah, that's pretty cool. That's doing what we want. I maybe just figured out how this shit works. Oh, God. God, I cannot believe that I didn't know that. The particles are glowy as shit. I'm just gonna wipe all these guys out at once. So... what it does is it takes the position that it's sitting on screen. This is like what I've gathered in the last couple minutes. We're about to find out if it does what I think it does right now. Hey, it did it. It did the thing that it was supposed to do. Which is make those not disappear. So the thing it does is it sits above everything else and sends that as the screen texture as opposed to just the layer you're on. So let me plug in a thing real quick and then open up Paint. All right. Wacom tablet. Very nice to have. So basically the way this works is we have a screen, and things are drawn to the screen, right? And these are drawn in an order. So you have your rendering order. And we can think of this like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, when you write a shader that reads the screen, it reads the screen at whatever layer it's on. So if the shader is on layer 1, it reads the screen on layer 1. And if you have it write back out everything in the screen, it'll cause things to disappear. What the back buffer copy does is it will sit at one of these layers. We'll say the back buffer copy is here at layer 4, right? And it copies everything on layer 4 down. So it copies from this point down and puts this in a buffer. So then our shader can, instead of looking over here at the screen, we'll look at the back buffer copy. So that gets rid of the whole disappearing elements thing. That's what that fixes. Per Godot, a back buffer copy does not, however, It is a node 2D, so it doesn't inherit control nodes. So if you have control nodes that you need it to do, you have to make them children. That's fine. That's not a big deal. That's an easy thing to fix. And we can have multiple of these, so our shaders can handle it appropriately. So that's cool. That's literally what I just read on here. Yeah. Learning about back buffer copying, that's fun. So, it can sit above the light, I think. If I set that to like 5. And then summon a skeletal brute, I think it'll do what I need it to. Or I just broke everything and we'll see. Either way, this is shaping up to be kind of cool. Yeah, the shaders, learning shaders, which thank you again for that because you're the one who taught me this, has been an extremely useful thing to do. Ah, we're disappearing again. So, yeah. Oh, that looks cool. It's the first time I've gotten to see that. Yeah, so I would need to have that on a lower layer. So 4. Yeah, you can do some really cool stuff, especially at the text-based adventure stuff, because there are so many good CRT shaders that you can port. Like, that's not a CRT shader, but this looks really cool and could be useful for something like that, because it does a dithering effect with a shitty color palette. Honestly, shaders can take really bad art and make it way better. This is a cool one, for instance. I'll drop this one in chat for you. There you go. Yeah, I know. Well, they both are based off GSLW, so, I mean, Godot is just simplifying out the like normal shader language you use in OpenGL and Vulkan. Which is actually really nice because whenever I move to doing like Love 2D stuff again, I can use that. So that'll be nice. Being able to write shaders for Love 2D will be really cool. I think that sits there. Because it should sit below the fog. We're gonna try something. I really like the way the lighting looks. Like, that's just cool. Still disappearing. I still don't fully understand how the back buffer shader works. Or the back buffer copy. I don't know what that changed, but we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, I know how to do depth textures and stuff. Depth textures aren't super useful, though, with, like, 2D, which is where I spend most of my time. That's fucked. Yeah. My thing that I don't get is like the back buffer 2 thing. Yeah, you can make some really cool stuff though. I've seen a couple of examples on Godot shaders. You see how they're not bright up here? That's the issue right now. They're also just circles, but that's a different thing. The cool thing about a text adventure game is that it can just be made with one scene. Yeah, it can. Yeah, it can. I probably wouldn't do that myself, but that's just because of how I work. It's easier for me if I don't. It's just like that the way my brain works isn't singular scene kind of deal. I work much better with things like in a graph, like a big web. That works better for me because I can see that easier in my head. Yeah, I know what you meant. I know what you meant. This game could technically be done with one scene, but I'm doing it with a minimum, I think, of 3. Sorry. Everything in Godot is a scene, but that's not the... I still think of scenes in terms of unity. Sorry, that's to be clear. Like, everything in Godot is a scene, but I think of scenes still as, like, unity scenes. And I still think of, like, scenes that are objects, like this card, which is an object, but in Godot terms, it is a scene. I think of this as a prefab still. Like, that's just... Even in my... my files over here, I have a prefabs folder, and that contains any scene that is not going to be loaded as, like, a full scene. It just, like, that, the way Unity does it makes more sense to me, like the terminology, but, and I've carried that to Godot, but I understand that in Godot, everything is a scene. Which weirdly is easier to work with. Everything being a scene is easier for me to work with, but there's some give and take there, you know? What's the ordering on this? If I open you, let me look at this color rect. Oh, this supports up to 500 lights, and I have it gimped at 250 right now. That's funny. Yeah, and actually making the main game and the menu one scene could be cooler because you could do a you could do like a sort of loading screen after your splash screen, like the operating system's booting, if you wanted. Yeah, you do some really cool stuff that way. I'm gonna continue reading this again and see if I can understand it. Copying logic works in Godot 2D. The entire screen is copied to the back buffer before drawing that node. This only happens the first time. Subsequent nodes do not trigger this. The back buffer copy node was processed before the situation in the point above. Even if hint screen texture was not used, the behavior described point above does not happen. In other words, automatic copying of the entire screen only happens if hint screen texture is used in a node for the first time and no back buffer copy node was found before in tree order. Excuse me. Set only pixels not. Or is it possible to use back buffer to copy back a region of the screen for a different region? Avoid this behavior. I think having this game as like a second game to work on is fine because of how simple it is to make programmatically and visually. For a good parser, I think I would need a lot of testers, or maybe AI can help a bit with words. Yeah, you're basically, for your parser, you're going to build up a lot of dictionaries, more or less. That's what it's going to be. If you can get a... Oh, what the fuck are those books called? I haven't looked at one in forever. You basically just want to gather the synonyms for a word, and then if they both appear in the same scene, you ignore it. You treat it as garbage. When you see me talk a lot about something, you can easily conclude I'm excited. Okay. So I think that everything will disappear right now. Like, I think if I do this, it'll disappear whenever the brute attacks. Yeah. But then if I set this to like 4. Rendering order makes things weird. Yeah. But then we don't have them as bright up here. So it's going to be bones. That's what this one is. This is Ichor, so angel blood, basically. You will use this to buy cards, this to actually do summons and spells. This will not be on screen all the time, it just is right now, so that I can track it and make sure it's working. I also really like how now the Ichor's light kind of shrinks away as it's getting close to disappearing. I'm just thinking right now. I think I can set, if I go to the fog and go to this color rect, Z index at 5. If I set this to like 1, let's see it. Whatever it is you remembered. Okay, now they're super bright because it's no longer on top of them. I do. Oh, sorry. You want to see how much of a game developer I was? I remember when I was working on Roblox games, I would send footage of what I'm working on to friends. I have them, actually. I would like to see that, actually. That'd be kind of cool. Okay, so now everything's above. That's interesting. I have this game from 2021 where it's a runner and you race against people, in this case just bots. Let's see it. Do I need to make... Pulled it off screen. It's fine. That's quite the subscriber count. I also pulled it off screen because my personal account is the one that's logged in right now. This is actually, like, kind of cool. There's definitely more here than I thought you could do with Roblox. Like I said, there's definitely more here than I thought you could do with Roblox. That's kind of cool. I know that, like, Roblox as a platform is super, super flexible, but, like, I don't actually know that much about it. Roblox, just a little before my time, or after my time, I guess. Would be the right way to say that. Like, it was a thing, but it wasn't like this super popular thing it is now. That's cool, though. So I think what I need... Back buffer copy. What does that do? Actually does not look like it'll let me. There we go. Now, I wasn't looking at that, so I don't actually know what happened there. And you're welcome. You have my Discord, like... You know, you could always just message me on there, right? I mean, like, yeah, you have that. You might as well. Like, if I run this isn't going to be any brighter, I don't think. I think it'll still get overlaid. I guess I could probably... I do still get messages from people asking when is my old game gonna be updated and stuff. Okay, so can I do this? Can I set this thing's ordering to like 5 and turn Z as relative to off for this? So it's not relative to its parent. I might have to increase it like by 1 to 1 or 2, but also, I noticed the game is on forward plus rendering. Does that work for mobile too? No, it doesn't. I changed the idea to go to mobile a little while back because of the way this game controls and how big it's getting. It didn't make sense to keep it on mobile. So that got changed. This will go on like 1. It is easy to change it back, but it is easier to focus on just desktop for now as an itch release. Excuse me. That's still not quite what I want. That was last year. Okay. I just realized text adventure game would be really good for a resume. Like observe, help, pick up, whatever. Sounds like gratitude. Yeah, it is. If I, at past jobs, had gotten a resume and it had a GitHub profile on it, and that GitHub profile had a text adventure game, I would play it. I'd sit there and I'd play the game at my desk just to see what it's like. Try to find bugs. Check out their code. The number of times I've gotten resumes with projects and then I broke the project in like 2 minutes is kind of astounding. Like, this is your resume. Put your good shit there. Like, and if it's like in beta or you're building something to test, tell me. I don't care that it's built to test. Just tell me that it's built to test. Don't say it's a finished project. Should be drawn after. Is that what I'm doing? It is. Okay. Also, this thing's transforms wrong. Let's do this. We'll save that temporarily. We're going to open up fog. We're going to drop a brute in here. Not the PNG. Why is that not just going off? Okay, that's weird. I'm just gonna copy and paste that in. There we go. That's better. Give me a moment. Sorry about that. Color coding in resume. Do I show the game and the source code too? In the resume, what I do is link. Hold on, one sec. Okay, that's weird. In the resume, what I do is link to the project. Like, give me a link to your GitHub. Yeah, see, this is interesting. I would link to your GitHub though, and on the GitHub just have all your projects listed. And then in that GitHub, you should have the source code listed. Now that's a little different though, because you're selling this project. So I would probably link the store page for the project and then say source code available upon request. That's been an issue for me because I made money off of quite a few of my bigger projects. Unfortunately, though, if you make money, you can't exactly show the project. Yeah, what the fuck? It's so weird. Big sad. How's game dev going? It's going well. It's going well. Fighting with lighting systems. Mostly just I built a custom lighting system this weekend, which works for the most part. But I want to make the particles glow. And I'm having a hard time understanding how the back buffer copy system in Godot works. Yeah, luckily vector math is not something I fight with very much anymore. I used to. I used to have to fight it, but I don't really anymore. I kind of, yeah, I get what it's telling me to do, but I don't know why it's not working. I think it's the bigger issue. I understand what it's telling me. I don't get why it doesn't do what I expect it to. The simple solution is to go down here and set this layer to 5, and then in-game it'll work. It just will. Okay, there. Enemy player spawner. Crypt. Let's just try that. I'm curious. Any rendering code yet? Trying to recreate a game for practice and more game dev content. Makes sense. Yeah, I've built a lot of games over the years. Though I've never done it to any professional capacity. I'm making this one to actually sell. And Ninja there actually taught me how to write shaders initially, and I've been doing a lot more custom stuff with that. Okay. Well, the graves aren't disappearing. But it's also not... I wonder if that's that division operator. Just making it the same color. So I I wrote my own lighting system for Godot recently because Godot's default one works, but it has a limit of 16 lights affecting a single node. Well, the background for the map is one node, and I have regularly over 100 lights on screen. So I needed to build my own system. Did it over the weekend, have implemented over the last couple days completely, and now I'm going through and I'm implementing some other stuff, like glowing particles. Now, I'm curious about something, specifically this. If I don't do that, what happens? Yeah, well, you can do that in a lot of engines. Most engines expose it. It's just, I just prefer Godot, ever since the whole Unity debacle. I used to do Unity. I've also done, like, mono game. I've worked without engines quite a few times, and I love doing that. That's a lot of fun. Mono game's amazing. I competed in a Love 2D game jam a while back. That was fun. That's still not quite right. What if I set this to, like, 4? But, yeah, I hadn't, like... I had never written a shader even remotely that complicated before. And I wanted to see what it was like. And turns out, wasn't that bad. I'm working on a devlog that'll go on itch probably tonight about it. It was supposed to go on last night. I was lazy. I played Crawl and did my Arabic lessons and went to bed. Okay. That's closer, but we're still getting the damn color overlay from this. I wonder if... if it does it in load order. I wonder if I can do like this. And then we set the ordering on this one to something lower or the same. Let's try. Just real quick. Yeah, I was just lazy last night. I was supposed to write it last night and just didn't. It'll get written. It's already partially written. I'll finish writing it after stream and then get the images together to post it. I do regular dev updates on Instagram. Just about every night we'll post like a video or an image or something, whatever we've worked on stream. And then I stream every day. And I'm out of coffee. Damn it. That's still not what I want. Not that I didn't kind of expect that. If I set that to 3. It should select. Ooh, actually, I think it needs to go down 1. I think. If we set this to 4, that one's 3. The fog is on Z index of 5. If I set this to like 3. What kind of game are you working on? Assuming you're still here, I could have just been talking to the void. Not quite. I'm working on a couple of games, but the one I'm doing a remake of is a 25-year-old game called Hype the Time Quest. I've not heard of that game. I've not heard of this game, but I know this cover. I remember seeing this at the Computer Clubhouse as a kid. Let's actually search the name of the game so we don't get... Yeah. I bought Sonic R instead. I do know about this game. It's a bloody brilliant game, but it requires jumping through hoops to get it working nowadays. Yeah, the old Spider-Man game. 94, I think? Yeah. Or no, it's 99. This game. This game doesn't run natively on Windows anymore. I wrote a patch for it years ago to get it running. It's one of my favorite games from whenever I was a kid. Very fun, though. Was a fun thing to write a custom patch for. This is my first time doing that, too. I'd done like a little bit of reverse engineering stuff prior to that, but that was fun. That was a fun change. I wonder if... Like, if I just put this... like, down here. That should mean it's the last thing rendered. We still have all that. Let's see if our lights still work. Okay, we still have our lights. Still not right on the particles, though. Just gonna hold this guy here so that I can see what happens whenever it attacks above these. Okay. I'm masked out completely. a screen reading mask that inverts the color. And it's up to back buffer, so the background and the red icon. And screen ignored. On top of that, I'm at for the most recent one. For example, if I add another one. Okay, so your mask has the shader.
Fucking beats code, beats code.
Actually, that maybe, and then that guy down there. I should check the ordering on this. But yeah, my main goal is to recreate every mechanic of the game in order of necessity, then make it so it's easy. Then make it so it's easy for people to add assets to the levels and characters that doesn't require programming. So the hype community could slowly work on recreating all the art assets and add to it. It's a cool idea. I've thought about... This would be a hard thing to stream, mostly just for testing reasons. I've thought about, though, recreating the game Blood. Wow, that's a shockingly common name. There we go. I've thought about recreating this game, but doing it as a VR game. And do, like, voxel models for the, like, guns and stuff. I think it could be a lot of fun. And I think it'd be a fun project. But this is like an old Doom-style shooter, and it's one of my favorites. This is the re-release of it from Night Dive, but it's a very cool game. It's kind of cheesy and campy, and I love it. That's still... What's your ordering set to? 0. What's your ordering set to? 3. I wonder if this is some weird thing having to do with the children. Yeah. Yeah, that's like, if you look at old Red Hat documentation too, it's kind of funny because the documentation changes to be more PC as the years have gone on. They, a few years ago, removed all references to master and slave and changed it to, I think, parent and child, or tree and leaf in some cases, which is interesting because we already use tree and leaf as like names for things in file structures. At the very least on the Microsoft side. I don't know about Linux, actually. I know how to use Linux, but I don't know what they use for terminology there. Should really go and get my Linux Plus. My thing is like, so I have this, but I don't think it's the children, because if it was the children, then it wouldn't be happening to this. And it is. Could do this. Let's try this. Let's see what happens here. No, still happening. But those are right. What layer is that? It's on layer 0. But I set this as layer 0. Child, parent, sibling, killing the child, accidentally leaving zombie children. Yeah. One of the best I've ever seen was, I think it was killing orphan children on an error screen. I didn't type that right, did I? Nope, I just didn't hit enter. Yeah, killing orphan children is fun. I like the idea that you're like, I don't know, the wizard equivalent of an IT guy. And you get called into a business and they're experiencing computer issues, like their crystal ball isn't working or something. So you have to kill off a bunch of orphan children to fix the crystal ball. That could be funny. I'll be right back. I need to refill my coffee. Alright. Let's see here. So it doesn't matter where I place that fog layer, it keeps doing what I don't want it to do. But then if I set this to 1, I bet it doesn't happen. There's a problem with the crystal ball, so when parents die, it doesn't also kill the children. Stuffing references to underflow array sorting dictionaries and stuff that would be cool too. Yeah. Yeah, you could. I think that there's a lot of room to like play with that idea. Well, that's interesting. Our summoning circle's gone. Not gone, but invisible. And we are drawing those, but not drawing those. Like we're overlaying on some things, but not others. If I open a grave, what does... You are on layer 0. You're on layer 1. And you are on layer 0. So layer 1 would be where everything is. The weird thing is the crypt's on 0 and the crypt is... Oh, wait, though. The crypt is a scene. Crypt shadow is probably on 0. Crypt, I bet, is on 1. Crypt is on 1. So I saw the title of the game, but what is it about? Give me 1 second to check this. Okay, it's still not quite what I expected. That's back, though. So you are just a necromancer kind of protecting your crypt at this point from some biblically accurate angels. And you have summons with skeletons and some spells and stuff like that that are already in the game. Right now I'm trying to sort out lighting, which has been hell, but fun, but hell. You know what I bet I can do? No, it has to do that for Y sorting, doesn't it? Sorry. Right now you are just a necromancer protecting your crypt from like some biblically accurate angels. But I have plans to maybe add a sort of skill tree, maybe add roguelike mechanics. The game would be kind of easy to do that too. This would just be like your main battle phase. I've had some interesting ideas with being able to do stuff like take put this here. To be able to like take a map and then at the end of the level you can choose like going to a village, going and explore, something like that. Ideas and suggestions are welcome, by the way. I always like hearing what other people have to say. okay. I don't know what I changed, but whatever I changed, it's working now. We need to spawn both of the spells, the bomber and the mage, and we need to spawn our healing spell. First thing we'll do is spawn a mage. Cool. Healing spell. Cool. If I spawn a bomber, he runs off, does his thing. Cool. Fireball, good. Firebolt, good. I expected those ones to still be fine. Because their layer is all fucky, but also the trails on their firebolt is correct now. So that's all fine. That's all correct. Good. That works for me. Okay, great. Another thing I can check off my checklist for today. This was supposed to be already there. All right. I don't know why I pulled that away. I don't exactly need to hide it. That's just our Instagram. That came up. Let's see here. What do we want to work on next? I guess we could implement the camera and screen shake and then start implementing the not grasping dead, the gravequake spell. Could be fun. The whole point of that spell is to give you a secondary way of like digging up graves. So that could be interesting. Excuse me. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and we'll implement a camera and then we'll implement a screen shake. Sorry. 360. Make sure that that's correct still. That still looks right. And that all still looks right. Good. We have a camera. All right. Now we need screen shake, which I think I'm just gonna pull out of another game. I've implemented screen shake before during a game jam. I'm just gonna rip it out of that game. Game Master, camera 2D. Had to go to the bathroom, but I made probably one of the worst quest systems known to man yesterday. Unintuitive, tightly coupled. Have to recreate large parts of the system for each quest and can't do very much. I've been experimenting with a quest system of my own, but it is in here right now. But yeah, I have an idea, because I think it'd be fun to do like a Supernatural fan game, because I liked that show when it was coming out. So I have an idea for like a supernatural fan game, but it would involve me creating like a detective and quest system that has to be really, really flexible. So I've been playing with that as an idea. I think that the camera has a script on it. It does. Give Visual Studio a second to open, because I've not opened it yet today. But hey, I suppose it kind of works. It also doesn't have multiple stages either, but who needs multiple stages when you can create many small quests instead? Yeah, I mean, like, what matters is that it functions. Like, if it does what you think it should, great. Sorry, give me 1 second. I need to... That method. Yep, okay. This is exactly what I need, and then I just call shake on it. Wrote this forever ago. Let's rip it out. This game's old. This is basically a speedrunning game that we did for a game jam. Camera 2D. The nice thing about C# though is I get things like interfaces, and you don't get interfaces in Godot. I don't need to do that. I'm just gonna make this an instance thing. Unfortunate thing about C# compared to Godot or GDScript, you don't get preloads. Preloads don't exist for me. Level UI, pause screen, final offset still needed, targets not needed, pausables not needed. This random number generator is really not needed, but I'm gonna keep it because I'm already using it. I probably need a completely separate system for managing conversations and let the quest be able to initiate conversations instead of creating text boxes directly. Copy and paste is too OP. And yeah, interfaces are nice. Yeah, having interfaces is really convenient. It's a really unfortunate thing that you don't get in GDScript, but that's okay. Like, there are ways to work around it. You have resources, and resources are kind of like shittier versions of interfaces. And you can still use resources inside of C#. I use the resources for a couple of things, specifically the cards. The cards exist as resources. That's really convenient. Resources are kind of like Unity scriptable objects. Oh yeah, yesterday I found a way to create warnings that can't be suppressed. That's convenient? Question mark. You'll see me copy and paste code, by the way, but you will never see me copy and paste code I didn't write. If I didn't write it, it didn't get copy and pasted. All right, camera 2D, and then I just have to call... I guess I just call shake on the Gravequake spell. Cool. Real quick to test, what we'll do is we'll open up Game Master and do this in process here. If input dot is key pressed, we'll do key dot k. Excuse me. Camera 2D dot instance. It's not static. I need to make that static. Dot shake, and then There we go. Cool. Now we should be able to test that. I should do a null check. Now, if this works, we should be able to get... if this works, we should get camera shake. And we can use that in anything we need. Well, that's right. It is shaking the camera. That is a different problem I have to fix. You don't notice it in the game because of the UI. But cool. Camera's shaking. Problem is it resets the position. That's right. I deleted that code, didn't I? Shake, camera shake, offset. Final offset. Zero, negative, 200. Let me pull open the code for that because it's been a minute. But hey, close to working. Oh, never mind. Actually, I figured out how to fix them. Turns out it just didn't like that I didn't put argument names in my abstract functions. But that's not what the warning said. I had a similar thing happen to me yesterday. So the lighting system has to marshal data from a script and a bunch of objects down into a shader, and it all has to be done using like static arrays. Just fine. Or not static arrays, but, you know, fixed length arrays. The problem was, though, is that it kept getting mixed up on what indexes were available and what weren't. And whenever I decided, okay, well, we'll just create a queue of available indexes and we'll dequeue and enqueue indexes as we go, so we always have available ones, we know what is available. When I first built that system, I wrote the for loop to populate the queue with all of the available indices. And I forgot my plus operation at the end of the for loop. Turns out in C# that's still valid syntax. I didn't know that, but I had created a while loop and a ready function and had to rewrite everything. Excuse me. Interesting. Oh, that's right. That's a property of camera 2D. Yeah, I just didn't realize that this was valid. That's valid as a while loop, effectively. But I kept getting an error that the queue had reached its limit of items, and then a memory a .NET out of memory exception, which I hadn't seen in quite a few years. It did not understand why for a bit. You know those moments when you write great game jam code and you don't understand what you did or why? Oh, that's right. This only works in the game jam? Oh, because of this. So we just need to log the initial position and make sure that, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's easy enough. We'll rip this out real quick. Save ourselves a little bit of time. It works in the game jam code because, is seamless... Oh yeah, a project I'm getting pretty close to finishing, you know, the first 90% of, is seamless portals I can use for non-Euclidean geometry. Nice! Nice! Yeah, non-Euclidean geometry is super cool. My girlfriend's dad, actually, he has a PhD in mathematics, and his primary thing is, like, fractals and geometry and all that stuff. Really cool. He was walking me through a bunch of stuff with the Mandelbrot set and a bunch of other fractals the other day in the kitchen. Super fun. Wicked smart guy. Target does not equal null. We don't care about this. We're just gonna, instead of using this final offset, this will just become init position. This also doesn't need to be public, but I might need to reference it later, so we'll keep it. There we go. I think that'll fix it. I'd imagine definitely couldn't do that myself. My version is essentially a trick to teleport you to a different place and hiding it by doing smooth teleports and stencils. Yeah. Yeah. Is it Sebastian Legg has a really good video on it, on doing portals in Unity. And all of the math would be transferable. Okay. That's still not quite right. Wait, is it final? Hold on. Wrong Visual Studio instance. Just real fast. We're not counting that in. That shouldn't be 0, 0. Oh, it's the off. That's right. Do we use that anywhere else? Offset is equal to random. Offset, random offset. It's just the shank strength, range, random offset, shank strength, yeah. I'm sure, but I like to understand the things I use, so I decide to make it myself. Gotta figure out how to make sure overlapping portals aren't messing with each other, though. Like looking through a portal at another portal and seeing the hidden room / not seeing the other portal. I'd say it's good enough for something like recreating the Stanley Parable for now. Yeah. That should be... Let's see. I think that's right. Been a long time since I've done this. We made that game months ago. And this game hasn't had a camera because it didn't need one. Nope, still not right. Why is... If I go to remote right now... Open you, click you. Why are you... Offset is equal to init position. But the offset's not set. See? Like, that's fine. Just real quick. Why are you setting that back to 0? It's setting it back to 0 immediately. Let's go in here. Position and offset are going to be the same thing in this case. Excuse me. That's not quite right. Okay. It's a little strong, but it is kind of doing what we want, which is cool. Ah, and this is just... Yeah, okay. This is easy to fix. I'm going to move the code over there just so I can see the values. We're going to copy this. Transform, paste it into position. Now you can see like it's kind of offset, right? Reset that to 0. Now position is equal to position, and we can just do init pos equals position, position equal position. There we go. Now that should work. Ah. Okay, and hey, look at that. That looks better. I can't summon anything because I don't have the bones for it. All right, cool. Now, the way I think that the Gravequake spell is going to work is, I think what we're going to do is we're going to make it cost about as much as like a, probably a night. Probably a night, but then it'll instant dig graves, so if it dug 4 graves, which will probably be like the minimum, it'll recoup its cost. We'll make the minimum 5 graves. That way you always get at least 25 more than the card is worth. And then you still have to wait 10 seconds before you can run it again. So it takes some time. I want to have the ability to do a run where you don't have to have any summons, you just do spells. Because I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be kind of cool. And since we implemented the Bagel of Shame, we don't have to worry so much about having art. Excuse me. The game kind of accounts for all of that now. There's error handling for everything. Whenever we forget to add spells and stuff. You know, good luck with that spell. Thanks. Have a good day. Evening? Evening, probably. Sounds like UK. That can be closed. All right. Sweden. Okay. Need spell book and card book, I think. Yep. Make it cost 100. It's a spell. I think we'll do 300 for the card cost for now. And then I think that will put it in the game. I think the spell is in the game now. It's just not going to actually do anything if we cast it. If we cast it, it'll just cast a firebolt. Yep, right there. Cool. There we go. Cool. Now we can just add the actual spell to the spell book. If we were to check the debug log there, it would have told us that that spell didn't exist, so it prepared Firebolt instead. Spell container, spell manager. The dead, and then down here is where our actual spells are. So we have 2 of them for each. And this one's going to be Gravequake. Same thing in here. Right. And then just what happens when it despawns. What it's called, its description, its path, and its spell type. Now this one's going to be interesting because it's an instant cast. This is probably our first instant cast. Right? And I think everything else is no. Targeted? Right, yeah. So this is our first instant cast spell, so that's cool. This will be our first time using something like this. I'm going to pause, run to the restroom, come back, we'll finish implementing the spell, and then we'll test it. Alrighty. Let's get to it. And then you are just interpolated string. And this actually should just go inside the... I realize that this is the same thing. I just prefer this syntax. .tscn. Cast and prepare. I don't remember what prepare is for. So let's pull up the firebolt. That's right. That's right. Okay, so this one doesn't really have anything for prepare. It doesn't really have anything for cast either. It's just that whenever it is cast, it does a thing. And then these just have a ready and a despawn. So these don't actually do anything either. So in this case, it really doesn't need to do anything here. And then I don't think the spell manager does anything. It just calls cast spell, passes in the path to a spell. Yeah, and then this casts the spell if needed. So if we check Fireball, I think Fireball I implemented, not that one, this one. Yeah, spellmanager.cast spell, which I think we can actually just add the Firebolt. That saves us some time. So for this, that doesn't do anything. We actually can delete this file. Unless we decide we add particle effects, which we might. There's nothing to prepare. I guess we could do... I kind of like the idea of separating this way. And then despawn would just queue free it. That's not necessary anymore either. And then we're just going to do spell manager dot cast spell, and then spell path. Alright, because he showed the targeting overlay and stuff, and then on the second click, the targeting overlay calls cast. So we can just call cast. Does that card question mark dot start cooldown? And then let's check the targeting overlay real quick. Draw, process, if visible, queue redraw. Is it in level master then? Probably. If his action just press cast. We'll just turn this into a single method called cast spell. Right? And then we'll just call it here. We'll do a public void cast spell. That does this bit for us. And then this can be, yeah, so we have a level master.instance. So we can do engrave quake here under prepare. We can do level master.instance dot cast spell, which will then call cast for us, but it'll set up the state and everything, so we don't have to worry about the state being off. I've never seen someone make something in Godot that looks so much like it was made in Unity. Cast spell. We're good there. That just calls spell manager at cast spell, so then everything can just happen inside of here. So we need to... I think utilities has a way to do this. Dot instance dot random on screen and then random. Okay, so we need a random grave. I could have sworn I wrote this already, so I just want to double check. I guess not. Or I did and I erased it, which is also possible. I do that sometimes. Okay, give me a discography that's kinda long here. There we go. Changing up the music a little. In area, 2vec4, load, save. Next float, offset animation, random on screen, calculate target vector, random player. Yeah, so there's nearest grave, but not random grave. Public grave, random graves. We'll do get graves and then an int count, which equals 1. We'll make that a boolean. Watch this cause me to just totally fuck gravediggers. So, and then we just check the count. So we just return grave container dot instance dot spawn points dot where hold on, what are the spawn points? Like, yeah, they're a dictionary of strings to grave name to grave. We'll do dot values dot where x dot filled where Doug is false dot to array we'll do that. It is targetable and it's not Doug. And then we'll just return this. I should technically be doing this with a for loop. Like, realistically, I should, but this is fine for what we're doing. Then we'll go in here and then say utilities.instance.get graves, and then we're going to do... Why would I ever want unfilled? Well, I need to change that, what I just wrote. we can do... This is going to be a little more complex than I had planned. If filled we can do a ternary. Otherwise, it's just true no matter what. And then we just do 2 array. That's fine. That'll work. Between, what did we say? We said 5, right? We could do the cost of Gravequake, but this doesn't get the cost. So that'll give us a minimum of 125. If the card costs 100, that's fine. So we'll say 5 to 8, right? Let us cast it twice if we wanted. And then we'll say for each grave G in here. We could, the reason I did that, by the way, with the filled thing is so that if we wanted to, we could get unfilled graves, and then we could do a spell to, like, fill the grave. Like a repopulate dead or refresh dead or something. I don't know what we would call it, but it could be cool. Could be fun. You could do, like, a feedback loop almost that way, if you wanted. Be neat. Okay, so G graves utilities random. We need to do G dot dig, and then we want to dig a ludicrous amount. We'll say 10,000. We'll never have this higher, I don't think, but we're gonna do real quick. Grave array called graves is equal to this. Greater than 0, do that. Otherwise, it'll just despawn. The beginning to the count, and I think that'll just... I think that'll work. And we'll do a game master.instance dot or camera. We'll do camera 2D dot instance. That's right. Right. Do that. I think that's correct. And then it'll just despawn. And then we just need to create the node that is this. Right? Because this isn't a node. This just is an ice spell. This is just a descriptor. It doesn't do anything on its own. So let's go over here. Close out this. Minimize this. Minimize that. This is the one we want. And then we need a new node. 2D is what it is. 2D. Gravequake. And then over here, quick load. Should build the game first, so that it'll actually show and we know what we're selecting. Otherwise, we have a hard time telling. Issue of Godot more than anything, but that's okay. Gravequake, and this is the cast, right? Yeah. Yep. That should do it. And then we can save this as Gravequake. And we'll save it inside of prefabs spells. And I think that's it. Let's try it. We're gonna set bones to 100. And then we'll go ahead and grab a firebolt. And we'll see if this works. Huh. So it couldn't find the spell. Oh, I need to add it to the actual spell book. Here we go. Try that again. And if that works, that might be the end of stream today. So I can finish up the devlog and get some other work done. And, hey, look at that. I don't know that it started the cooldown the first time. Okay. That's cool. Now we need to add in the damage bit of that. Also, that refills real fucking fast. I wonder if we can do like a cooldown offset. Problem for a different day. Close this. Close this. you, and you. You. And then, regardless, we also need to do damage to everything on screen. So, for each entity in player spawner dot instance dot NPCs entity dot I don't remember what the method's called. Good. I don't want you to move it. Don't let me fuck that up. Let's just remove health. Remove entity dot remove health. We'll tell it we're gonna do a small amount of damage, I think, so we're gonna grab a random number. We did say it would be small, so we'll do like float damage is equal to this and we'll do the same thing again, but this time it's going to be enemy. Does that work? I guess at their root, every eye enemy is an entity. Is that a thing? It appears that might be a thing. We'll just say like 5. For a small amount of damage, right? That works. Well, let's grab our grave digging spell, our grave diggers, and a firebolt, I guess we can do. We'll do that. We'll grab grave digger, firebolt, fireball, gravequake, and heal the dead. Cool. He didn't take any damage. Also, that didn't trigger its cooldown. What the fuck? That's interesting. $103. Why would that have been disposed of? Because the cards still exist. I spell. And then in Level Master... Okay, so some bugs to work out there. Which is then called here, which then calls spell manager.cast spell, which loads this in, instantiates it, sets its position to wherever our position is, adds it to the spell timer, and starts the cooldown. Modulates it, cooling down to true. Set shader parameters, start cooldown. Not sure. Gonna run to the restroom and then we'll look at it further then. Alright. Minor things to fix with instant cast spells. Excuse me. And then let's check card real fast. Card if it's a spell. Sets its game state to spell, sets the time scale, goes there. Okay, there's the hide, but where's the show? Okay. So we never show it, we just cast the spell. That sets its game state back to game. Why did it not? Okay. So we're calling cast here. Which does that. Which calls cast back here. Grabs the path to the spell, sets the position of the spell, adds the child. Oh! Oh. Do we despawn it? Yeah, we do. We call despawn, which should queue free this. Oh, sorry. wonder if prepare just needs to call. Like if we go into, that's the light manager, not the level master. Instead of doing that, what happens if we just call cast? Because that was calling prepare, which was calling level master.cast spell. So what if we did that? Same deal. Why is this getting disposed of? See, but that should queue free the whole fucking card. I wonder if that's happening with Firebolt too. Wait, that's working now. Previously, that wasn't... What? Well, now I am more confused than ever. If I go into assets, cards, icons... Why is that? Okay. Move that off screen real quick. Go to remote. Open up game. Go to... Tuner spawn point enemy Icar. Okay, so it exists. I can see it there. But we're being told that it's been disposed of. See, now that one makes sense. That one makes sense. At least a little. This one doesn't, though. Wait a second. When spell to cast is set, we call prepare. That doesn't exist yet. Alright. Curious if that fixes our problem. Okay. Go ahead and cast Fireball real quick. Perfect. That was the issue. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, the card didn't exist, and since we prepared it and then immediately started casting it, that's a problem. And now we can't cast as fast as possible, so that's good. That's actually great. And it does a small amount of damage, too, so that's good. Alright, Gravequake is implemented. We don't have art for it. Not sure what the art should be for that. We've created the card and we've implemented the spell. No card art. This guy's in a weird spot because we've created the card, we've not implemented the spell. But yeah. Yeah. That's good. Alright. I think I'm going to end it here today. Now that we've got the spell implemented, we've got that bug fixed, and the fireball is clearly still working. Firebolt's also magically working now. That makes no fucking sense. No idea why that's working suddenly. But I'm glad it is. Like, it should be waiting 2 seconds between every firebolt cast because I was in a situation where I could, like, cast as fast as I wanted. As fast as I could click. So, that's good. That's better. I'm going to probably tomorrow, maybe. If I stream tomorrow, I'm going to do the probably do the other summons or start implementing more card art or more spells. That's the plan. So, yeah. I think with that, have a good day. I'm going to get the devlog put out and then get that posted. So, bye.